Hello, okay, here in this video. Yeah, happy to be a bitch. Yeah, that's the name I gave this video, is happy to be a bitch. Okay, I gave it that name for a really good reason, you know. Because I've noticed the one thing that I have noticed in today's society is that people have the ability to treat each other the way they don't want to be treated themselves. And you have lots of women. Now, this is not directed towards all women out here, so first off, let me make this perfectly clear, okay? There's guys out here that are assholes, and there's women out here that are bitches, and then there's men out here that are decent guys, and there's women out here that are decent women. So this does not apply to the guys and the women who know they're not this. This applies to the guys and the women who know they're exactly this, and who are proud to be this way, okay? That's right, proud to be this way. Like my brother's wife, for example. She's proud to be a bitch. She thinks somebody has to be a bitch. And she thinks she's earned every right to be a bitch. That's right. Really what you're saying when you're proud to be a bitch, you know, if you wear a shirt that says I'm proud to be a bitch or I blah, 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 and you go around and you brag you're a bitch and you know you're a bitch and you're happy you're a bitch, okay? So what you're saying is that you're happy to be a parasite. You're happy to be a filthy piece of scum. You're happy to be the turd that fell out of the toilet that needs put back in the toilet and flushed. Because what you're bragging about is your ability to treat another human being the exact way you would not want to be treated yourselves. And the first time somebody would dare to treat you the way you treat them, you would be madder than hell. You'd be all ready to fight, wouldn't you? Oh, you wouldn't be able to handle it. You just have to fight right away because you were so pissed off that they dared to treat you that way when it's the exact way you're treating others. You don't own that right. So just remember this. This goes to everybody out there. You're proud to be a bitch? That's right. You know who you are. If you're proud to be a bitch, that means you're proud to be a parasite. You're proud to be a piece of filthy fucking shit. You're proud to be a fucking one of the problems with today's society. Because you have the ability to treat another human being the way you do not want to be treated yourselves. Okay? So now with that being said, here let me give you some good examples, okay? You know, everybody already knows what's happened to me here recently. The struggle that I've went through myself, and I'm just now starting to get myself picked back up a little bit. But anyhow, with that being aside, I went and stayed with my brother. And I like my brother. I have a lot of respect for my brother, and I really do. I like my brother. He had some tough times in his life, and I put him up in my home, and I never asked a thing from him. Didn't expect anything from him because he's my brother. He had no time limit to be there, okay? He was there as long as he needed to be there. Okay, that's exactly the way it was because he's my family. He's my brother. Okay. Well, I come down here and stayed with my brother while I'm getting myself back on my feet. And my brother wasn't the issue. Okay. Now, my brother just recently had a heart attack. That's right. He had a heart attack and he ended up in the hospital. And he had a stent or whatever you call it put in his heart. Okay. He's on drugs for it now. Okay. But anyhow. So he has a heart attack, and he's got all this going on in his life, and then he's got a wife that's a piece of shit. Excuse my language. I know he loves her. But at the same time, I have no respect for it. I have no respect for it at all. I'll give you an example. Like when coming down here, we come into the home, okay? She's got a kid, a 12-year-old, okay, who has an Xbox, and who plays Xbox Live like my son does, okay? Well, they wouldn't let my son bring his Xbox into the house, and it wasn't my brother, it was her, okay? She would not allow him to bring his Xbox in the house, okay? But he did go up to her son's room, okay, which is not my brother's son. It's not his biological kids, okay? So let's get that cleared up right now. These are not his biological children. And she has made that clear to him in the past that these are not his children, so we know where that goes, okay? So, anyhow, he proceeds to, when he first gets there, he's up in her son's room, and they're playing the Xbox with each other. You know, Xbox Live, they're playing it together. And he brought in his 2 wireless controllers to his Xbox in one of his games that they were playing. When her son, well, see, her son learns from Mommy. Okay, Mommy's taught him well. Mommy's taught him exactly how to treat others the way you don't want to be treated yourself. Like she does to others, okay? And that's exactly what he does. So he cops attitudes, okay? And he decided over time that, you know, within a couple weeks or so, that my son wasn't allowed to play on his Xbox. He wasn't allowed in that room if he wasn't there, and he was not allowed to play on that Xbox. He couldn't touch it. He was forbidden to touch his Xbox, right? But at the same token, the boy thought that he had the right to keep Jason's, my son's, controllers. So he wanted to keep my son's wireless controllers and keep my son's game up in his room to play on his game that he wasn't going to allow my son to touch. Okay? So needless to say, I had to go upstairs and I had to take the seat away from him and make it plain and clear to him that no, my son's not allowed to touch your game in no fashion, no means. You're sure to hell not using his stuff on your game. And took him from him, okay? Then my son had been downstairs watching TV, and I didn't see an issue with it. My brother didn't see an issue with it because he had saw my son watching TV downstairs, and I didn't see a problem with it neither, okay? Then the one day, my brother's bitch comes into the room. My son, out of respect, gets up because it's the main living room's TV. He gets up, puts the channel back on a TV channel he knows they normally watch, and walks away. When she looks at him and tells him that he's not allowed to touch that TV. That's right. So she's decided he's not allowed to touch the TV no more, okay? Then he'd go in there and he would be on my laptop using the Wi-Fi, which is grabbing the signal off their router, okay? When she decided he couldn't do that neither. That's right. She decided he was not allowed on my laptop because he would be using the internet, and the internet's being drawn off their fucking router. And so, therefore, he wasn't allowed to do that neither. So she kicked him off that as well. Okay? So then I had said to my brother, so I says, what is Jason allowed to do in this house? And then I says, well, let's see. He's not allowed to watch TV. He's not allowed to play the Xbox. And he's not allowed to play on my laptop because it might get your internet signal. So you want to tell me what he's allowed to do in this house outside of sit here with his thumb up his ass and watch her kids play the Xbox, watch her kids come down and watch that TV anytime they want, watch her kids climb on their computer anytime they want, and he's not allowed to touch any of it? Because that's what it come down to. It come right down to her making sure that he wasn't allowed to do nothing. Okay? And then when I have something to say to her, she just says, yeah, I'm a bitch. And I know I'm a bitch. Yep. She's proud to be a bitch. But this is an example of what I'm talking about. It's your ability to treat another human being the way you would not want to be treated yourself. And now she's treating a child. She's treating somebody that's 14 years old like this. And he has to sit there and watch all this going around him, okay? Well, that kind of stuff sends me through the roof because the one thing that I've always spoke out against is people's way of treating one another in life. What is so hard with people treating one the way they would want to be treated themselves? What is so hard with that? What is so difficult about that? I don't see anything difficult about that at all. You know, I've went out of my way my whole life to help people. And anytime I got it, I'll be there and I'll help people. I go out of my way and do stuff for people, and I don't expect anything in return because that is from me. That is my heart. That's what I want to do. And I treat people the way I want to be treated myself. And I get fucking very, very, very tired and fed up with watching people treat other people like dirt. That's right. Treat other people the exact way they would not want to be treated themselves. And what really gets me is when the same people that are treating people like dirt, when somebody else comes along and treats them like dirt, you know, the way you treat other people, you're mad. You're all offended. You're pissed off. You don't like it. You're ready to fight. Why? Why would you be ready to fight with somebody for treating you the way you treat them? What, you don't like your own medication? Is that what your problem is? You think you have the right to dish it, but you don't have to receive it? Is that what it is? Or is that because you haven't grown up yet? Yeah, that would be because you haven't grown up yet. Okay? And that's what I have to say here. So, you know, when it comes to people like that, people like my brother's current wife, and then believe me, I love my brother. I would help my brother, and I'll bend over backwards anytime I could to help him. If I had it to help him with, I would help him. But I won't help her. No. She can rot, as far as I'm concerned. I would not help her. I'm not going to help somebody who refuses to help other people. You know what's even funnier, though? This is the same gal that used to go to church, the same gal that will sit at her freaking dinner table and tell people to pray. That's right. And thank God for their meal. I want to know who her God is. I think maybe her God's name is Lucifer. Because it sure couldn't be anybody of goodness, because God don't teach people to treat people like shit. God don't praise people for bragging they're a bitch and treating other people the way they wouldn't want to be treated themselves. God does not praise people for that behavior. Lucifer does. That's right. Satan does. Evil does. So my message is to you people who are happy to be a bitch, and you asshole guys are happy to be an asshole. So what you're saying is you're happy to do unto somebody else that you do not want done unto yourselves. So you're happy to do unto somebody that you wouldn't want done unto yourself, but when then your medication is passed back on to you, you think you have a right to be mad. You don't have a right to be mad. You deserve a whole bunch of your medication until you get your heads out of your ass. Think about it. Your comments and opinions. Next video, you have a good one.